Okay, terrific. So ZyNyah, so I've got questions for you both. I don't know if you had a chance to sort of look at the email I sent, but just to get you thinking, were you able to look at and reflect on some of the questions I sent?
I looked at a couple
Okay,
because I was doing something. So yeah, I looked
yeah.
at a couple.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, perfect. So thank you for taking time. So first off, just very generically, ZyNyah, and then we'll ask your mom as well. Like, how is distance learning going for you, ZyNyah? And be
Um,
honest, be totally honest.
okay, this is learning is different. Sorry. This is learning is different. And I feel like it is sort of kind of like school. Like this year is better than how it was last year because last year was just like we didn't know, it was like out of nowhere. So this year I feel like we improved a lot. It does feel a lot like school, but it's just harder because it's like we're not in the same environment. So I know it's not only me, but it's a lot of my peers who feel like we can't get as much as we would in school done. And it's like difficult because we so used to working in groups and being hands-on with each other. So it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just a new experience for everybody.
So are you, yeah, I mean, for everybody, if I can editorialize for a minute, yes, it is hard for everyone. We are all trying to figure it out. Um, you said we're used to working in groups. You said it's different, and we're used to working in groups and being hands-on with each other. So what are you missing? What are you
Um,
missing?
like for example, like field work was probably like everybody's favorite days. Um, like we don't really go on field work as much anymore. Well, but we like our teachers still make sure it's fun for everybody. We still do um assignments that we can work in groups. We do a lot of breakout groups sometimes, and then sometimes on the side, I would take. Wait, I would use. Wait, no. Sometimes on the side, I will use my leadership, and I will make Zooms for my friends and help them out like that, so that we can
Okay,
communicate
wait.
even more.
I have to interrupt you. You are making your own Zoom. Like, what? Say more about that, because you're in eighth grade, right?
Yes.
You're in eighth grade, and what I'm hearing is, hey, crew mates, hey people, hey eighth graders that I'm learning with, we need to do more together. Like, say more about you creating these Zooms. Like, that's impressive.
It kind of started last year, in seventh grade, because like I said, like everything was new last year. Everything was, basically kind of rushed. So last year it started, but I didn't do it as much as I did this year, and I knew this year counted a lot. So I just took it into like in my own hands, and if my peers was afraid to ask for teachers' help at office hours, or we were all just confused about something, I would contact them, ask them if they wanted to make a Zoom, and we made the Zoom and just worked like that. We shared screens and asked questions about like a math problem or something dealing with science. So yeah. And then of course, we cracked jokes in between and stuff. So
Have to.
yeah.
Wait, but okay, but not like you just ended your sentence by saying, so yeah, so not so yeah. Like, that's a big thing to be like, hey, I need more. And or maybe I have enough, but I know my fellow crewmates enough to know that they might need more. And I want to create something where we're checking in and we're learning together and helping each other figure out, is that what's happening?
Yes. Sorry, I said yes, because um a lot of my friends, I know if we were in school, like they would do the same for me, especially in like science and ELA. That was like a struggle for everybody last year. So if we were in school, we would at recess maybe go up, or at lunch we will sit at certain tables so that we can help each other. But it's no different this year. We just make Zooms now. So that's the only difference.
And so and that's, ZyNyah, that is beautiful. And you are restoring my faith in humanity right now, knowing that you care so much. Like I know you can succeed and you know you can succeed, but you know, you need to help other people to bring them along. And that is such a beautiful thing. I love that. Are you, and Mom, we'll get to you in a minute, like, okay, a lot of that, like what I'm hearing, the foundation of your interest in helping other people is that, I don't want to put words in your mouth, does that come out of the idea of crew? Does that come out of the points of Polaris? Like, where's your thinking coming from? What?
A lot of it comes from my mom, actually. When I was younger, like I always wanted to help everybody. I always said when I get older, I want to do this and be helpful to the community. So like now that it's going into action, I actually feel like proud of myself and that I'm actually helping other people feel good about themselves. And I'm going back to like the last topic. I don't even do a lot of helping with my friends. Like I go outside of my friends. I help like 7th graders, sometimes 6th graders. Last year I helped 6th graders, which are 7th graders now. But yeah, and then when I was in kindergarten, that's when we were introduced to Points of Polaris. So like I had a couple years to think over Points of Polaris and learn more about it and how it can help me in my everyday life. And now that I'm older and I know what I'm capable of, I just use it to my advantage.
Is there, Mom, like, Miss Banks, look at the kind of lovely young lady you are raising. What is your response to all of this?
I'm emotional, but she tells me I can't cry.
You can totally cry because I'm like emotional on this side. Yeah.
It's very emotional, but I try my hardest to tell her sometimes you have to think outside the box. So when she comes with an idea, I always tell her, okay, let's get it together. What do we need to do? How can we do it? And I let her take the lead. And so when she struggles on things, then she'll come to me like, Mom, I'm having a difficult time. What should we do to help? I always been a parent that tells her sometimes you have to think about other people other than yourself, because you might understand, but the person, your peer or someone you come across might not understand your views or things as far as school or work or ethnics. You might need to help them. And so I'm very proud, because sometimes we think as parents that our children don't listen or don't hear us. And it's making me proud because I see that every day when I come home, because I'm at work during the day, and she's pretty much hands-on by herself. And when she gets stuck on things, she'll pick up the phone, call me or text me, and like, Mom, I'm stuck. I need this, or how can I? And I'm like, okay. And then even when I get home, I get excited because I want to know how your day is, and I want to know what happened. The same routine I would do when she's in the building. So I'm really excited. I'm excited for what the future holds for her and her generation. Super excited.
Can we back up? So you said to her when she was a little kid, ZyNyah, sometimes you have to help other people. Like, so you are a mom that embodies this notion of service, this notion of crew. Before you even got to Polaris, you were like crew, right?
Yes.
This notion of helping other people. How can I ask, and I want to ask both of you, like, because because we're at Polaris, right? You are a student at Polaris. Like, how has, during this time, during distance learning and even broader throughout your whole kindergarten through 8th grade experience at Polaris, what is the impact of crew? What is the impact of the points of Polaris? Those are, I know those will have big answers, but how has crew, how has the points of Polaris helped you succeed or be the person that you are?
Well, I want to talk about something really quickly. So before, when I was in preschool, I went to a totally different school, which was St. Malachy. And the way that they pushed their students to be was like, you have to advocate for yourself and yourself only. And I didn't like that way because I like to be around people and I like to engage with other people. So when I got to Polaris, I noticed a big difference. And the other day, I think it was last week in crew or the week before, we were talking about what team means. And Ms. Peck came up with the best definition, which was together each accomplish more. And I feel
and I got that text message.
and I feel throughout these past couple years, just thinking about together each accomplish more, that it's actually true, and that you don't have to always stand your own shell. You can express how you feel to other people, because the more you express, the more people know about you and how you like to learn, how you like to do certain things. So I feel not only have I opened up more, especially this year and everything that's going on, but my peers have opened up more to me, my parents, teachers, all of that. And I feel once you do that, you earn a different level of trust.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just Polaris has changed me a lot, basically.
So I mean, that's huge. And you said especially this year, you said, I've opened up to my friends, my crew are opening up to me, my teachers. And you said especially this year, what, I'm looking for specifics. I'm going to push you. Can you give some examples, specifically, this year, how crew and points of Polaris have helped you or helped you help others? And then over your K-8 experience. So this year, but then in general, your whole experience. And the reason I'm asking that and asking to push a little is because Polaris is a very different kind of school.
Mm-hmm.
We want the people who support us, we want them to really get that and understand, kids can go anywhere to elementary school, right? You can send your kid anywhere. But the fact that, ZyNyah, you are at Polaris, you're getting something different. And so when you give specific examples, that is something that people that support the school, they'll be able to relate to that and understand that. So I just wanted to say that's why I'm pushing you a little bit for specifics. Can you give a few more specifics about how crew or points of Polaris have helped you throughout K-8, and then also specifically during distance learning?
My mom wants to say something really quick.
Yeah?
No, I agree. I know it wasn't my part, but I was so excited to talk.
No, I want to hear.
For me as a parent, and then me being in the education field, I didn't want the norm. So I didn't want the Polaris used to be Morris. I used to go to Morris when it was before it was Polaris.
Are you kidding me?
No, seriously. I went there from K through 6th grade. It used to be Morris. And
Yes.
so I went there through K through 6th grade. Then I transferred over to Morton from 6th, 7th to 8th. But doing my research, I had fellow coworkers that referred Polaris to me, which was Tisa Williams, Zamari's mom. She referred Polaris to me. She was like, she gave so many good views, so many points, and good things about Polaris. And so what I did was I did my own personal research. And doing my personal research, I'm like, okay, well, maybe she can go to this school, or she could have went to any, CPS school. But I wanted her to go to a school that wasn't based on just sitting and doing things out of books or looking at the board to take notes. I wanted her to go somewhere that's hands-on, that the teachers can work with them in smaller groups or work with them one-on-one. They can go out and explore different types of things that are happening in the world. So it made me feel good as a parent. So when I found out she got accepted, I immediately pulled her out of St. Malachi because St. Malachi wasn't for me. To me, she wasn't being pushed like she should. And so when I started learning about the points of Polaris, I was like, hey, as a parent, it made me feel comfortable because the compassion that Polaris have towards the children, the students, and then to get to know a parent, greeting them, good morning, Mrs. Banks, or good morning, Paula, that made me feel welcome. And so throughout the process, we might have had some ups and downs, but we never left it where we couldn't have a discussion to figure it out, to problem solve. And as a parent, that made me feel welcome. And I'm like, oh my goodness, all of these different points, now I see why they all coming together and the school is the way it is. Would I change anything about it? Absolutely not. Would I encourage or refer Polaris? Absolutely. Because as a parent, I feel comfortable knowing that my child is getting the care that she needs and getting the education that she needs and the hands-on experience. So when she goes to high school, she knows how to interview. She knows how to write a paper. She knows how to speak and present herself, because I instilled that with her at home as well. And to know that the teachers are working in connection with the parents lets me know, like, there is definitely compassion. I'm big on compassion. Like, I do it at work myself with my 2-year-olds. So I'm very big on compassion, integrity, respect. In order to get respect, you have to give it. And I tell ZyNyah all the time, I'm like, sometimes it's okay to take a moment and take what the person that's speaking saying, and it's okay to give your opinion, because your opinion matters just like the person that's speaking. So with all of those points, it's like I have seen a big transformation year after year. And this year it's like it's explosive. Like it's like the grand finale. And it makes me proud because I can look back over the years of all the teachers she had, and they pushed her. So with the points of Polaris and the school and the staff, even other parents, it's like we can come together, give resources to each other. If a parent said, oh, how can I find a extracurricular activity for my child? Do you know any place? I can give that information. We being resources to not just the children, but to each other as parents. And that's a good thing, because that shows that we have enough respect to come, to the school and help each other. It's like a big community. When you all say community, we are a community. Definitely a community.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. I love that. I love, just can I dig in a little bit? You said you have seen the transformation, a big transformation in ZyNyah year after year.
Yes.
Can I dig in a little bit? Like what is some of that? What is some of that transformation?
So I have seen fifth, sixth grade, she struggled a lot without asking for help, trying to figure out things on her own, trying to fit in, trying peer pressure. And that's the age that peer pressure, the grade level peer pressure starts.
Right. Right.
I have seen
your friends. Yeah.
Yes, I have seen her being defiant. Sometimes her shutting down on me, and I give her her personal space, and then she opens up. So fifth and sixth grade was a struggle for me with her. But then communicating, I allow her to come to me to communicate. I didn't want to push and push and push that then our communication be one way and another way, and then she won't communicate. So sitting down, talking, and letting her know, like, sometimes our peers push us to do things that we shouldn't do, but you're a critical thinker. You're a problem solver. You have to think on your own. What would happen if I do what my peers do? Or what would happen if I don't think on my own? And so I would give her, I would give her birds of a feather flock together. And so she never understood what that means. So I would keep saying, I was like, so if I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing and I get you to come along with me, you're my bird. We're flocking together. We're not soaring in the right direction. We're doing something that we shouldn't do. And everybody that's doing the wrong thing, everybody deals with the consequences. So then she started realizing sixth grade comes, and she was like, oh no, I know now, Mom, what you mean. So fifth and sixth grade was a challenge. Seventh grade, I started noticing that she was problem solving a lot more, especially during the pandemic, where the shelter in place. And not only was it rough for her, but it was also rough for me. Because we both are social butterflies. We can get in a group. We can get along with any and everybody. And so it took a toll on me first. And then I started noticing, like, the dropping of, not more so sad. Like her being, her energy level went from 100 to almost 10, 15. So then that's when she came up with the idea of, Mom, can I start a Zoom meeting with my friends to socialize doing, to get together for homework, and then even doing a socialization after school. And so I was like, yes, but let's contact the parents first to let them know that you're in charge of it and I will be monitoring. You only can get on when I'm at home. So that even on the weekends, they get on their gaming systems and have fun. But then I started noticing the level of security. She started feeling more secure about herself, started feeling more open. Her confidence has went from low to high. So she sets herself now with higher standards. And she says, Mom, can I do it? You can do whatever you want to do. You put your mind to it. I'm here 100%. We don't fail. We don't fall. We be at a standstill, but we'll get back to where you need to be. So, and she motivates me because now she's like, Mom, look, you done finished this degree. Now it's time for you to get your master's. So I'm like, let me just take a break. But she encouraged me. And she tells me all the time, Mom, if you can do it, I can do it. So I'm the same way. Even at drop off or when I leave, I wake her up in the morning because I'm out the door at 6.
Too early.
And I wake her up 5:30 in the morning like, hey, I'm getting ready to go. I love you. I care. Have a good day at school.
So, Ms. Banks, that is beautiful. And in talking about ZyNyah, like, you, without necessarily using those words, like, she is an active citizen. She has compassion for her fellow students. She is an explorer who is like, what could I do? let's create a Zoom for my fellow students. Maybe that would help us. She's a critical thinker in solving problems. She has integrity because she wants to do well in school and she wants to help others do well in school. And she's an active citizen because she brings all that stuff together by looking outside of herself to help other people.
Yes.
Is that like ZyNyah? Like, is that kind of, I'm totally putting words in your mouth, but is that kind of true? Like, how is
Yeah, I didn't know like my mom noticed that much actually. Like I didn't know a lot of my teachers, like even with this whole interview, I didn't know like none of it was gonna come. This is a blessing, and I didn't know like people actually noticed me. I just thought I actually just did stuff because it would benefit my peers and myself, but I didn't think it would get to this point where other people saw me like doing it.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, it did, because when I was asking Miss Navarre and Miss Peck, you know, who we need a student, like we need to feature the story of a student, because hearing like about a specific person is always very powerful because it's the individual. And I'm like, who at Polaris would be a good story, especially now during the pandemic? And without hesitation, Miss Navarre said ZyNyah Banks, and Miss Pack backed that up by saying the most beautiful things about you, how you embody all the different points of Polaris, like really raving on. And I will say this, like, I remember do you remember when you were a mathlete and you went to compete?
Yes.
You got like third place and you competed among all those other math students in that sort of citywide math competition.
Yes.
Like I remember seeing pictures of you with your calculator and pushing through, like.
And ZyNyah, remember, you are a double light leader, right?
Yeah.
And so you have always exuded this beautiful leadership. Like you had said, ZyNyah, it wasn't for the attention or the accolades. You did it because it was important for you to help others, because helping others helped you as well. And so I want to remind you of that when you graduate, you have honor cords, and who's to say that we don't figure out a way to continue honoring leaders in those points in this virtual world, or when we come back together.
Sometimes you have to.
So ZyNyah,
Stand back. So just like not to cut you off, I apologize. And I tell her this too. Sometimes you have to fall back in order to stand out. And so she's like, Mama, but what you mean? I was like, sometimes you just got to sit back and observe. And I said, you might not think that people see you, but they really see you. I said, you don't have to put yourself at the forefront all the time. And I tell her this every day. I'm like, see, sometimes she said, Mama, you're right. Sometimes I got to fall back to stand out. I said, yeah, it's okay. You're not hiding. You're there. They see you. I said, and when it's your turn to shine, you're going to shine. I said, just keep doing you. And be honest when you do you.
And your actions, just how you live, how you live in the world, how you move through the world, that is seen. You don't have to shout who you are. People see who you are. So Miss ZyNyah, can you tell me, can I push you just a little bit to, is there a particular point of Polaris or a particular aspect of crew that has gotten you, like distance learning? Nobody likes it. We all hate that. You know, we cannot wait to get back to three-dimensional humans and being with each other and learning, you know, at school. We cannot wait for that to happen. How can you maybe tell me how I see how your mother supports you. Can you tell me how your teachers. I know you have a couple different teachers because you're an upper level grade. You know, Mr. Clark is here. I know you go to all the other teachers as well for science and ELA. Can you tell me how your teachers might support you through distance learning, or how other students might support you? You know, distance learning is awful. How is Polaris helping you get through it?
Okay, so
Specific, because I'm going to call you out to be specific.
okay, I'm gonna try my best. So for example, say we were in school right now, like in person, none of this ever happened. So say I'm in ELA and we are working on this book, and it's like difficult, which it really was last year. So how would I say this? Okay, so Miss Thomas would, okay, so we have all sit in different groups at tables. So it would be circle desk, and I sat with mostly girls because, you know, girls rule the world. Anyways, so I sat with mostly girls, and we would, sometimes all of us would struggle. So when it come down to my teacher supporting me in school, it never changed online. Like, if the same way Miss Thomas will point you out in class for your good work or for a way of thinking about something differently than she would have thought about it, she would do the same thing online. So same with social studies. Last year we had Miss Lafreniere. We were learning basically about what we learned about this year with the whole legislative branch, well, the 3 branches of government. But the only difference is that we were pushing people to vote. So with that whole pushing people to vote, yes, I made my mom vote. With that whole pushing people to vote thing that we're doing this year, like if I needed help, I always went to office hours to ask Mr. Clark, like how can I say this way if I didn't understand how I could say it, or how can I persuade somebody to vote if I have all the information but I just don't know how to voice my voice it. So I mean, nothing changed, but it's just like over a screen, but you still get noticed for your success, your failures, and how you can push yourself for those, like your weaknesses to be your strengths.
That's beautiful. And so,
And I did vote. She persuaded me really good because
awesome.
I wasn't voting, but she got me. She told me, don't come home without the I vote sticker. And I'm going to tell you who to vote for because we've been working on it for a couple of weeks now.
She had your sticker in class.
Your voice is your voice. Your voice is your voice. Thank you
Yes.
for being an active citizen and, you know, working to make the world a better place. So can we segue into this work that you are doing in social studies? Learning about the election, learning about the voting process, this Vote for Me campaign, all this sort of like being an active citizen and servicing your community and educating your community. Can we talk a little bit about that? ZyNyah, can you tell me about this learning expedition? Because what you, if I'm understanding this correctly, you went like out into the community talking to people about, are you registered? Here's where you can register. Are you voting? Here's where you can vote. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, I think Mr. Clark wants to say so before he go to class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mr.
I'm
Clark.
sorry, ZyNyah, before you answer that, I'm so sorry I have to run back to class, but I just want to say a quick word about ZyNyah. ZyNyah is like completely awesome. You know, even before I was in class with her in 5th grade with Miss Eel, ZyNyah, she's a rock star. You know, when we look at points to Polaris, right? I look at it as parts of the body that you really cannot operate without, okay? So you have the head, right? The head is, you know, how can I put it? Let me see. So the head is like critical thinking, right? The head is critical thinking, and then you have your arms for integrity and compassion, right? Which you're reaching out to people to do something. You're reaching out to people to help, right? With this arm of compassion, and then this arm of integrity, right, is where people can count on you, right? People know that you are a just person. People know that your word is your bond, right? They can take that check to the bank. It's going to clear, right? That's what I see in ZyNyah, right? So we got the head, critical thinking. We got the arms, right, of compassion and integrity, and then the legs of explore and active citizen to put all of that into action. Okay, so that's what I've always seen in ZyNyah, and that she's been exercising that ever since I've known her. So she is so awesome. ZyNyah, there's a ancient African word, and it's called Kepra, and that means the process of becoming, right? And a lot of us don't. Through Polaris, through these points, we're in the process of becoming with all of these points, right? That character is going to build that strong, beautiful, wonderful woman that you are becoming, okay? So you are in the process of becoming. You keep up the good work. In class, she is always the first to respond. She always adds valuable and relevant input to the class, right? And she displays her understanding of the subject at hand. So sorry, I really have to go, but moms and you guys are wonderful. Keep up the good work. Okay. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. That Mr. Clark, the body, the points of Polaris explained through the body, like that is so, like, all right. So ZyNyah, do you see yourself that way?
I didn't think of it that way, but now that I'm thinking about how he put it, I didn't notice it before, like in fifth and sixth, like my mom said, I didn't notice it before, but I noticed a big change in my actions and how I thought of now than I did like 2-3 years ago. So yeah.
What made that change? How would you, like your mom described, if I can back up, your mom described 5-6 years of struggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things changed when you got to like, started to change 7th grade, 8th grade. What was that change? How do you look at your fifth, like when you were 5 and 6, did you notice that did you notice I'm struggling, or were you just living? And like, was that a struggle for you? And what was the change? What changed?
I feel like with the struggling and I'm just living, it was like a mixture of both. Like I noticed spaces where I could improve and where I needed to improve. And at the same time, I was like, maybe it's just the way like I'm supposed, like this is a way that I'm supposed to grow, basically, like grow from, something I need to grow from. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's how I was thinking of it. And then as I got, like when I was in 7th grade, I reflected on the beginning of my 7th grade year and like my 5th and 6th grade year and how much different I was. So basically what the difference between 7, 8, and 5th and 6th is that I kind of found my self-worth and like that I don't need to be like somebody else in order to fit in, because if they're really going to be my friends and if they're really going to accept me for who I am, then I have to actually be myself, because then if I don't be myself and if I'm portraying who they want me to be, then how are they actually going to know how to treat me or what I like, things I'm interested in. So when I got in like the end of 7th grade, a lot of teachers were saying the same thing. They were like, you need to like stop trying to be somebody else's be like somebody else, basically. So 8th grade came, I just like completely changed, and I actually felt it and seen it through my work as well. So I just basically grew out of a lot of things. I became more confident in myself. I wouldn't say I was stressed in 5th and 6th, but like things were kind of like stressful a lot. So I mean, A lot of the time, I just thought about how would this affect how I grow and how would this affect who I become in the future. So I'm just taking action and trying to help others be themselves, because if you don't, I mean, you're not being truthful to yourself. You being who others want you to be. You being who others think you should be, but you have to stand up to them and stand up to yourself. The person that they're trying to get you to be, you have to stand up to yourself. Or wait, you have to stand up to that person that they're trying to get you to be and be like, no, this isn't you. You have to stop this now, because if you continue to do this, then in the future, you're gonna always be trapped behind this wall that you can't break down. So I mean, it's easier to break it down now than wait till later, and then you just feel stuck and you feel like you started everything over.
And you, okay, and so you were 5th and 6th grade, you were not being yourself, figuring
Yeah.
out who you were, sort of being what you thought other people wanted you to be. That's hard. That's hard to like live trying to fulfill someone else's notion of who they think you are. And in the 8th grade, it sounds like you realize, like starting in 7th grade, 8th grade, it sounds like you realized, I need to be me. I can't pretend I'm someone else. I have to fully embrace who I am and be me. What is there? So I have to ask, always have to ask, is there anything? And I know you said that like your teachers sort of encouraged you to, you know, be yourself. I mean, is there any points of Polaris that made you like sort of reflect and say like, I mean, it sounds like a very conscious thing, a conscious change that you made. Is there any points or anything about Polaris that made you consciously make that change? Like, I need to be myself. It's okay to be myself.
Yes, actually, I always reflected on the point of integrity, even though that was the point I always wanted to get nominated for. But I feel like I didn't deserve it at the time, because, I mean, you don't always have to show integrity in your work. Well, yes, you do, but like that's not what that point is there for. It's there for being truthful with yourself and showing integrity through your actions and how you treat other people. Like, I mean, all of the points come into one, but integrity was the biggest one for me, because you have to tell yourself, like, if I want to be this one day, then I have to be truthful to myself. I have to take these steps in order to get there. I have to make sure that I keep in contact with this person, because they'll be a help to me and they inspire me to get where I want to be. So, I mean, integrity was the biggest point, and it still is the biggest point. It will always be the biggest point that I reflect on every day. So yeah, integrity is.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And obviously, like, you're old enough to know not everyone has integrity. And not everyone lives that way. Not everyone cares about being truthful with themselves or with others. And so right now, integrity is such a big deal. So thank you for always, you said I reflect on that every day. Thank you for doing that, because you are gonna like make the world better. Not only now as an 8th grader, but I am certain as a full-on adult. Can I ask you a few more questions about, I just want to get back to some of the work that you're doing with Mr. Clark in ELA and that work. Like, did you go out in your community about, like, can you tell me about that? Like, learning about the election process, learning about voting, you know, and sort of encourage it, because you can't vote, right?
No.
Vote for,
No.
vote for me. Vote for me is not vote for me, give me a vote. It's I can't vote, so vote for me. Cast your vote because I can't cast my vote. Can you tell me about some of the work you did in that class and for that campaign? Because you went out into the community, right?
Yes, even though I was a little nervous, yes, I did. So
Good
first,
for you.
I do have
First and foremost,
for
we
being
have
a brave one to get out there and say, I'll spearhead this. I'll give it a try. That was scary.
so first and foremost, of course, we had to research. So we I didn't even know what we were going to be learning about in social studies. The first couple weeks were just like introductions to things. And then that's when it just came out. We were learning about voting, and I was actually happy because I knew it was going to be a lot of commotion this year with the election. So we learned about the different places. I mean, the different seats in the government and everything. And then one day out of nowhere, I just took it into consideration. I was like, let me watch this debate. And even though I fell asleep on it towards the end, I watched it and then I talked about it in crew.
Which
not
debate?
crew, class.
Can I interrupt? Which debate did you watch?
The one between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the very first debate.
Oh boy, that was a doozy. That was a doozy.
So then I think it was like a week or two after. No, it was the week of the debate. I think it was the day after. Mr. Clark, Miss Peck, I think it was a couple seventh graders, and Miss Navarre, we all was in office hours or study hall. I don't remember exactly which one. And then I was like, why don't we just set up a little station or we walk around at the school for supply pickup and we basically promote ourselves and then we convince parents, because if it's coming from an adult that's different, they're gonna just bypass it and think it's nothing and think it's just another ad basically. But with us, I mean, it's more convincing because a lot of the time you don't see kids like me or students my age going out and trying to get other people to vote or do an act of integrity and compassion. So I took it into my hands. I helped come up with some ideas. Some of the seventh graders helped, and then we just at supply pickup. It was I was nervous, but I was walking around with one of my peers, and we were just talking to some parents about why they should vote or are they already registered. And then some weeks after, I reflected on it myself. I was like, I could have did more. I could have stepped up more. But I mean, I was still proud of myself at the end because I didn't think in a million years I'll be the one out there talking to someone how to vote. And I mean, I encouraged a lot of family members to vote and everything, but it wasn't even that hard. Like learning about voting and learning about like everything dealing with government, it's not that hard until you actually take the time to sit and think about it. So I mean, the stuff that we learned at Polaris is like you wouldn't think a student would actually learn. Like you wouldn't think, oh, like okay, for example, since my mom sent me to Polaris, I was in kindergarten. She wouldn't have thought that, oh, my student would be learning about government. Oh, my student would be learning about like natural causes and important causes in the world. But at the end of the day, like you always, no, I don't know how to say this, but like at the end of the day, you never know what you can accomplish with what you learn and who you can actually reach and who will take your information and actually feel inspired by it.
That's so beautiful. I'm so glad we are recording this. Are you, so the thing, are you trying to say, because one of the things that Polaris does is the learning is often grounded in real world things that are happening.
Yes, because Polaris, they think a lot about how our future will be. And I feel like the only way, like Miss Ill always said, Miss Peck always says it. Basically every teacher says it. We never do stuff out of textbooks because we want you to actually experience things instead of having to look down in the book all day or feel confused about something. So like with that being said, I mean, the fact that we are learning about real world problems and not just about history or what happened before, but what's happening now can actually push us to be like people who live in the present instead of in the past. So yeah, that's how I think of it.
people that live in the present, and what can you do in the present? What you just did, you became an active citizen, and you encouraged and educated other adults to learn about voting and how to register, and if they were registered, how to vote, or how to think, what to think, that pushes you to be an active citizen, right?
Yes.
She sold me.
There you go. That's so beautiful. Miss Peck, I'm trying to think of oh, wait, let's bring this round. You're in 8th grade, right?
Yes.
You have you're a leader. You are a school leader, and clearly you're a leader on Zoom. Wherever school is happening, you are leading. High school is on the horizon, right?
Yes.
And we know families could just be like, you just go to the high school in the neighborhood, that's fine, whatever that is. Like, that's the easiest thing. You're just going to go to that high school. What's happening with high school and you getting there?
Okay, so hold on, mother. So my mom has always been behind me when it comes to everything. If I wanted to be a football player, even though I don't, she would be behind me for that. If I wanted to be the person who changes the world, the person who if I want to be a nurse, which I do, she is right behind me with that. So wherever school I want to go, she's right behind me with that. And I always push not only myself but my friends. If your parent wants you to go to this school but you don't want to go, don't be disrespectful, but just stand up and for yourself, because if you feel like your future depends on your high school and your college, then you have to take that step and let them know why you want to go there and stuff like that. So I want to go to Trinity High School, and my mom is 100% behind me with that. If Trinity sends me an email, I tell her, she's like, "Are you gonna do it? You should do it. I think you should do it." Which yesterday I applied for the Daniel Murphy Scholarship, and yesterday I actually got an email saying that I was selected for the interview. So I'm very excited about that.
Can we pause? Can we pause for a minute? Murphy Scholarship.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Woohoo!
I mean, the fact that, you know how many kids apply for Daniel Murphy Scholarship? Thousands.
No.
Thousands. I do know. Thousands of
Let me
kids.
tell you, ZyNyah, the Daniel Murphy Scholarship is a character scholarship. More than grades, yes, you have to have you have to be a responsible, effective learner, but they really look at the character of a student. And ZyNyah, I can't think of anyone else who represents what it means to have a critical thinking brain and a heart, right? Your head and your heart are very connected, which is what they're looking for. And I'm so excited. My eyes are tearing up. I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. You are
It's
maybe insane not to take you on, as a scholarship award winner. You are a perfect candidate, if not better than other candidates, let me tell you.
It's right. And Miss Peck is right. And thousands apply. And not everyone wins a trophy with this one, right? Even kids that are perfectly qualified, it's highly competitive. And you have an interview. That means they are super duper interested in you, hearing your story, hearing what you have to say about yourself and about learning and what you hope to get out of high school. An interview means we are not wasting our time here. We're interested and we want to know more. So that's recognize that. That is huge. That's huge. And that's so impressive. So what does that mean? How did, can you tell me, how did being a Polaris student help you? How does being a Polaris student shape you and help you reach this goal?
Polaris has helped me a lot, character-wise, mentally, physically. Um, before like before I was at Polaris, I was doing a lot of stuff on my own, and I feel like Polaris has shaped me for who I am today. They like, I know I keep talking about the points of Polaris, but that's like the biggest part that has actually helped. Like getting input from others, and like how not rude, but like they will come to you as respectfully as possible and tell you, oh, I think you should step up in this, like in this point, or you should improve in this point. Like everyone always was like, okay, at Polaris, no matter who you are, no matter what grade you in, you always have their support. Especially like, for example, community crew, you always get noticed for something, no matter if you didn't get noticed this Friday. Like everybody still notices you, because like it's just like a close-knit family. We all there for each other, and we all care for each other, so we congratulate each other's successes. If we see someone who is low in this point, or who is having a moment where they feel stressed or like they can't accomplish something, we take it in our hands and we bring them up. And I feel like Polaris has done that multiple years for me, where I had a lot of weaknesses and they helped me. They didn't just leave it to myself to like work on it by myself, but they were a helping hand and they helped lift me up. And I feel like that's why I am who I am today, because I have so many role models and examples at Polaris, to where I'm not just going to keep working for myself or tell my friend, hey, you need to work on this, and then just leave them like there. I'm actually going to help, and I'm going to get a group of people to help me help them and lift them up to their best self.
Oh my God. All right, ZyNyah, Miss Banks, like you can't see, I'm crying. And here's why, and I will say this.
She told me I couldn't cry.
You can totally cry. Don't listen to that. I am crying because right now is really hard, and hearing your daughter and you, Miss Banks, speak so powerfully and honestly about your experience, what Polaris has done, like that makes me feel like no matter how hard I might be struggling, this is why it is worth it to hear your daughter speak that way and have that experience and grow that way. That makes everything, all this crazy pandemic BS, it makes it all worth it. Thank you, ZyNyah. All right, so I know we have to conclude. I have one question for both of you that I want you to answer. It's a very simple question. Why Polaris?
Why not Polaris?
That's a big question.
That's a big
Why
question.
not?
But like, why Polaris?
For a parent point of view, I would say why not Polaris? Polaris has everything that you're looking for when it comes to your child in education and exploring and extracurricular activities and development, especially development, hands-on, one-on-one. They really live up to the mission of their school. And as a parent, to drop off and to know that my child is in safe hands is very, very rewarding to me. Because, you know, you're a parent all day. And if I know I can drop my child off in a school that shows compassion, has integrity, most of all have respect for the student, and the student have the respect for the teachers or the staff, lets me know that I have my child at the right place. And to know that they don't only build on just the now. They build on the now. They build on the future. You can even come back to the school to get additional help, additional resources. It's just family. I don't really think of it as just a crew. I think of it as family. I'm big on I am my brother's keeper, my sister's keeper. I'm big on that. So to know that I can always come back, even if it's to share a moment that something happened or we're going through this, why not Polaris? Polaris has helped me through a lot of hard times, especially this year, where I was able to reach out to some of the ZyNyah crew teachers in the loss of my mom, and the staff members was very confident and compassionate about it and let me know that Ms. Navarro, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here, even if it's just a conversation. So why not Polaris? Why not? It's more than just the educational. It's like
lifelong family, like
yes.
an additional family,
extended
friends. So like it's lifelong. You know that like now, even though I lost a few friends along the way because I haven't changed, but I've found myself. I still know there are a lot of people where I can still reach out to them 10, 30, 40 years from now. Like in high school, I would definitely be back at Polaris. If we are still on Zoom, I would definitely Zoom bomb. Yes, I will. But like, why not? Because like when I first came to Polaris, I was like, I might not like it here. But then when I came to my kindergarten, like what is it called? That kindergarten meeting before school even started?
Orientation.
Orientation. When I first came, I was like, I actually like it here, and that's why I met a lot of people that I still communicate with today. Like Ade, I still communicate with him. Adriana, all of them people I met at kindergarten, and I know they'll be here 10, 15 years from now. Like teachers, I know will be here 10, 15 years from now. All I have to do is email them. So I mean, it's just like another family that you can always be with, and you will always have to celebrate your successes and push you with your failures. So yeah.
That was beautiful. Ladies, I am like crying here, and I mean that. I'm not just like I seriously mean that. Like this, you have no idea what hearing mom, daughter, what like seeing you and hearing your story, the beauty of it, the struggle. I love it. And it is, I wish we could clone you because it like the world would be
Did they already?
She said, didn't they already?
Yes, we did tonight. Yes, we did. All right. I know Ms. Peck has got to jump off to another Zoom meeting. She's going to send me the recording, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of transcribe it and put it like basically create a story that is just your words. You know, I might have to insert a few words here and there to make the sentences flow, but it's going to be based on your words, all of your words as much as possible, as if you are saying it.
Okay.
No problem.
That sound good?
Yes.
Ladies, thank you so much. Fran, thank you so much for solving our technical difficulties.
Who knew I'd become a tech expert? Anything can happen, ZyNyah. Anything can happen. All right, guys. It was such a pleasure. Much love. ZyNyah, I let Miss Thomas know you were with us, so take a break. Don't worry about going to class unless you want to, but you used and just see her in office hours or email her if there's anything that you need, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Miss Banks, ZyNyah.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth, I'll send you this recording shortly.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Fran.
You're welcome.
That was great.
It was awesome. All right. I'll see you later.
Bye.